welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Alright, today, these gnats are bothering me. I gotta put some off on. Got a 2005 Chevy 2500 with a 6.0, and I am going to show you how to change the water pump. Water pump is some big funky thing, man. It's kind of wild. It ain't like the old Chevys, the 4 bolts and boom, out of the way it goes. This is some big thing, whatever. Alright, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to pop this hood and get us a drain pan, and we'll show you the stuff we're going to need. So let's get that done right now, alright? Get this up. Okay, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. What I got over here, first we're going to need is a drain pan. Just for antifreeze, you know, I keep it nice and clean so I can reuse the antifreeze if it's still good. Got me a regular screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, metric socket sets, deep and shallow, 3/8 drive ratchet, with a 4-inch extension. Alright, the first thing we're going to do over here is, let's get us some tools here, and let's get us a flat screwdriver, loosen up the air tube. This unplug right here, see this gray little clip down there? That little gray clip pops back, and then you can unhook that. So let me set this camera up and get this stuff, let's get this stuff taken apart. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, here we go. Let's get this taken care of. First of all, let's get a 10mm socket. Let's take off these 2 bolts right here. Alright, now on this clip, let's just pop that clip back. You can take it off actually. Squeeze the connector together, unplug it, and now you see the air cleaner's loose. The next thing we're going to do is, right from here, there's a clamp. Let's loosen up that clamp. Enough so we can shake this thing out of there and pick up on it. There's 2 tabs, 2 rubber grommets right here. They fit right on top of the fan shroud. Just pop that off. Let's leave it to the side, and let's take our screws and put them back in there. So that way we know exactly where to go when we're going to put this back together. Okay. Got our clip to keep it with this. Now what we're going to do is take this and let's go put this on the side, and I'll be right back. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is we're going to finish taking off the rest of this air tube. Get you a short flathead screwdriver. Let's loosen up this clamp in there. Take that right off. Now let me show you what I'm doing with the parts. As I take these parts off, you see I got the truck and I got the ramp out, because this was a rider truck, and I keep the ramp up there, use it as like a table, yeah. And as I take off the parts, I put them down and I put them in line, so I know when I go to put them back, as you can see I do that with all videos I got a lot to take apart. I put them in line, so then when I go to put it back together, they'll start at the end of the line and go right back. Alright, let's get back to our van. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is remove the expansion tank, which is right there. Now what you want to do on this expansion tank, let me go on this side first. You got a little clip right here. Just get a screwdriver and you pry that back, and you want to try to do this with one hand, man. You want to get in there and pick that tab up right there, and there it is, and it snaps open. Once you get that open, pull it off. Now once I open this up, antifreeze is going to start draining out So you want to make sure you have a bucket up under there. This one I'm not worried about because this is filled up with water. See, that's clear water coming out of there. So we can just let that drain out to the side. Will help us out. Now let's get our ratchet 10mm socket and take that off. Alright, let's get this bolt off. Let me set this camera up now since I just showed you that. Okay. Now this is ready to come up, but what I want you to do is pay attention that the overflow on this thing is going down there and it's like snapped into the side of the radiator shroud. So I'm just going to pull that out. Then let's pick the whole thing up as it slide it out of the slots right here. Pick it up. We still got water draining out of it, but that's so good. Okay, let's go set this to the side and we'll be right back. All right, next thing what I want you to do is we got a wiring harness over here. We got a plug for the mass airflow that's going to a connector. Now you pay attention to these connectors, because these connectors, instead of trying to pull them out, load it to the side. There's a little slot where you can put a flat screwdriver, and that's how we're going to do it. Just pry it, pop it right up, right to the side. And we got this long harness going to the top, same way. This one's on this side, pop it up. We're going to swing all that to the side. Good. Next, take your drain pan and you want to put it up under the side over here. Because next, get you a pair of vice grips. Oh, here they go, over here. Okay, and what we're going to do here, the upper radiator hose, right here, we're going to disconnect it and we're going to move the whole, we're going to pry that whole hose off over to the side. Alright, so let's get that set up and we'll be right back. Okay, got our vice grips, and what I want you to do, there's a little clip right here that's holding this top radiator hose on. Just stick that screwdriver right to the side, and there's a little tab. Bend that tab towards the hose, and you got to pick up on the top. See, it came loose right there. That's good. Now, let's get our vice grips. Set the screwdriver to the side. Get our vice grips. And we're going to crimp this, bring this clamp together. Dang it. Build up a little pressure in there. You know what, let's set this camera up, get this done. Now, next what we're going to do is we got some 7/16 bolts. Let's see, maybe they're 10. Let's find out. And then down on the top, the upper radiator housing, fan housing, we got one bolt right there, one right there, and one right there. So 3 on that side, and on this side we got 3 also. So we got 3 bolts on each side and 2 on the top. take those bolts out and take this shroud out. Alright, now what I'm about to show you, don't do it if you don't have an air compressor or something, because you know some of these vans, it's kind of hard to reach up in there and do any work. So a good little trick I've learned a while ago from this older guy that was teaching me how to work on cars. He said, you know what, let the air out of both front tires and it'll bring the vehicle down. I'm gonna try that right now. I got my little tire valve remover. Let's set this over here. And then, while that's letting out, notice I took the pan from under the van because I didn't want to squish my pan up. Let's get our jack from over here. And then we're going to take off this one. So let's let the air out of the tires. And then when they finish, we're going to come right back. Alright. See, I let the air out of the both front tires. Just stick it up on there a little bit. And as you can see, now it's more easier for me to work on the vehicle to get to this water pump. Now the next step we're going to do is, just like I said, I got like a 12-inch extension here with another 4-inch extension in a deep 10mm socket, 3/8 drive ratchet. We got 3 bolts on this side, 1, 2, and number 3 is down there, 10mm, and then we got 1, 2 over here, and then we got 3 on the other side, which I'm about to show you. So let's go ahead and take out those 3 bolts on this side, and then we'll go to the top. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, now let's get our 2 10mm on the top. And when I get that, what I want you to do is come to the other side. And you're going to see 3 more bolts. You're going to see 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take those out. Extension. Alright, let's get those bolts down here. 1, 2. And see, this is why you need that long extension to come way up here. Okay, take those bolts out, and when you're done, come back and join me. Okay, you see these 3 bolts? Those came from the side, and these 2 bolts came from the top. Notice they're different. They got like big washers on them. So we're going to set them over to the side, keep them in line and our stuff. And now what you got to do here is the whole top half is going to come up. Let's see how it's loose. You got to just bend that up just a little bit. You got to work your way around this thing. Get the hoses out of the way. It's going to take a little bit. Make sure it goes around that neck on the water pump, on the upper radiator. Make sure you don't crack that because it is plastic. You want to slide it out towards the driver's side. Just enough so you can clear the oil filler tube, the oil dipstick tube, and the transmission tube. Make sure you want to clear those. Comes out just like that. I'm going to set that to the side. Now, as you can see, there's what we got to get next. Next, we got to get some wrenches, a wrench to take off the fan. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is remove the fan and the fan clutch. Now, a lot of times, let me go over here. Let me show you the new water pump. Here's the new water pump. There's going to be a big nut that's holding that whole fan assembly on. A lot of times, they're clockwise, and a lot of times they're counterclockwise to remove them. What you do is just take your finger, you got the new one, just run across the threads. And I can see this one, to put this on, it'll be clockwise. So I know I gotta go counterclockwise. Now what I have here is an old set I had since I was, a long time ago. It's the fan clutch master wrench set from Matco Tools. And you can probably get one from Harbor Freight or anybody else. And what it does is, it's got a whole set to remove these fan clutches. Or you can get a wrench. Then the wrench you're gonna have to use, let me see, I believe it's this one. This wrench is a 1 7/16. As a matter of fact, there's a part number up there. 513739. Yeah. That's the part number for this wrench, in case you want to get it. And what you're gonna do is get you a hammer. Now, usually they tell you gotta hold it in place and all that, but just get you make sure this upper radiator hose is out of the way. The nut is down there, right in front of the pump. Get your wrench, put it up there. You want to hold that wrench in place. Get your hammer, and you want to just tap it, and it'll probably break loose. Sometimes it takes a little while. In a minute, I'm going to do this the right way. Let me set something up. I'll be right back. Alright, what I did was got me a thicker 1 7/16 wrench. So here's a different part number. So this is going to grab it better. Dang it, the gnats. Alright, let's get this on. What I'm going to do, yeah, that feels a lot better. Broke it loose. And once I broke it loose, get this hose out of the way. And that fan's just going to spin right off. Alright, let's go set that fan up and we'll be right back. Okay, now what I want you to do is notice down on the ground. Now you're going to have to take all this out. You're going to lose some antifreeze. If antifreeze, this one has mostly water in it. So you want to make sure, get your pan up under there and make sure your pan is right up under the front of the engine. Looks like I'm going to have to jack this up a little bit because the car is too low. So let me jack it up and slide this pan up under there. I'll be right back. Okay, we got our pan up under there. All right, next thing, let's remove the belt. 15mm shallow socket. Put the ratchet in as you tighten it. Here's the tensioner right here. That's all we're gonna do. Tighten it, bring the belt down, pop the belt off. Take note of how that belt is running so you can put it back on. Alright, next what we're gonna do. We got 3 hoses. The lower radiator hose and 2 heater hoses right there. Now there is a tool that takes those clamps off a lot easier, but being I don't have it, I'm going to be using some vice grips. Squeeze those clamps together. As you can see, these things is not that easy to do. At the same time, we'll pull this hose back, pull the clamp back. So we adjust that clamp, tighten it up a little bit. Squeeze a little bit more. Let me go on this side. Let me come around this side. Okay. It's really it's just water in here, so. And it's like this clamp. Just notice that there's a locking clip on that clamp that keeping it open like that. I really don't trust them, so be careful when that thing snaps back at you. Let's get this hose and stick it to the side. And if you can, replace those clamps. All right, let's get the other two clamps in here. More difficult to get to. Bring them out this way. Yeah, bring that clamp out that way. And the last one looks like it's really difficult to get to. And I might have to get a smaller pair of vice grips or something to get that out, unless I can spin it around. Okay, we got that. Let's get that thing. This hole. Should have just got a pair of smaller vice grips. Okay, now you can try to twist those off and bring them off, but that might be kind of difficult. So what I'm gonna do is get a little screwdriver or pry bar and just pry them back. All right, we'll be right back. All right, you see, I got a long pry bar. This way, I don't get my hands caught up in anything and mess them up. Just work your way out, work the hose loose. Now I got a broke piece of it. Let me get a screwdriver. Okay. Yeah, it figures this is going to give me a hard time. Once you break it loose from that seal, just from it being there for a while, the rest is pretty easy. And also, you know, take a note of where these hoses go so you can put them back. Okay, you see I got one off. Now I'm paying attention to where the hoses go. And I notice up here, there's one closest to the engine, then one is further back into the engine. I know the one in the back goes to the back. So I'm comfortable taking it off. There's a second one. All right, we got those off. Okay, we'll be right back. All right, we're out to the nitty gritty now. We got 6 bolts holding this pump on, whole pump assembly and everything. And plus we got the 2 bolts here for the tensioner. And those are 15mm bolts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a quick way. I'm gonna use my air gun with a reducer and a 15mm socket to make this a lot quicker. Let's reach in here and get those 2 bolts off. Oh, looks like there's one more up under here. There's 3. Check the sizes. You notice got a long one and a short one. So we're gonna put this. Let's see. That's pretty sure that's the long one. And that's the short one. So remember that. And then we got this new 3rd one right up under here. And that is another long one. And actually you can see by the tensioner itself how long that one is, how long this one is, and then this one is short. So we're gonna put this over here to the side. And now, we're going to the next one. Now for the water pump. Now, in case you can't really, before we do that, that little idler right here, idler pulley, let's get this out of the way. Keep the bolt right in there and everything. So that way it's easier for you to see those bolts. Now we got 6 bolts. 1, 2, 3. Over here, 4, 5, and 6. 6 bolts, 10 millimeter. So what I'm going to do is, being that they're like recessed back in there, I'm going to get my 10 millimeter, about a 4-inch extension, and put it up here like that. And start taking these bolts out. Now you notice I'm keeping the bolts in there because what I want to do is I want to make sure that all of them are the same size. Okay, let's go to this side over here. I can already hear the water pump breaking loose. I hear the water coming out. There it is right there. Let that drain a little bit. Take the bolts out and make sure, again, make sure all the bolts line up perfectly. Now we got an upper radiator hose here. Let's bring that out from last time. Bring this over to the side. And take the old water pump out. Now, as you can see the stain. See how the stain is up under there? So this water pump was definitely leaking. The reason why I didn't disconnect the hose from the beginning was because, so I can now position it exactly how it's supposed to be. And it's a lot easier, especially these clamps, they suck. Alright, we're gonna put this water pump to the side. And we're gonna get us a new water thermostat with a housing. And so we'll be right back. Alright, what we got here is now when this water pump comes also with a thermostat housing, so it's a good idea to change the thermostat while you got it off. Now what the customer got here is got the water pump, got the thermostat and the housing together from AutoZone. The part number on this is 524 KT. Right? But we are going to need the old bolts. Let's get, you got 2 10mm bolts over here. Let's get these bolts off. And what you want to do is take note of where that thermostat is facing. See how it's like that? So you want to make sure when you put the new one in, and also pay attention, like you notice there's a little indentation right there. So you want to make sure you see that on the new one and line that right up in there. Don't try to put it in no other way or we'll leak. So we're going to put that in there. And faces out away from the pump. Now it is like a spring loaded, and you're gonna feel that it's sticking up a little bit. So just line that up, line the bolts up, put them in and tighten them down. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use this air gun. What I'm going to do is tighten it up, and I'm going to put it on a medium setting so it don't strip those out. Done. Now before I change the hose over, what we're going to do is get us a little surface grinder right here. 90-degree angle surface grinder. This one's Cobalt. Cobalt's some junky tools. I'm going to let you know right now. But I got it, so I'm going to use it. Now what we're going to do is with this is go over here to the engine. And right where the old gaskets set at, we're going to clean that up. Now you can use sandpaper, wire brush. Just make sure it's really clean. Alright, clean that up, and when we come back, we're going to put this thing together. We'll be right back. Alright, you see, we got both sides cleaned off. Next step is to come over here. Now we're gonna set these pumps right next to each other. We're gonna take notice of where this hose is. First of all, let's get our vice grips. Take notice of where it's at. Right about there. I'll go over here and put it onto the new one. Release the clamp. Now I know that's ready to go. Next step. We got new gaskets. Now these gaskets are meant that you don't have to put no kind of silicone or nothing on it. But hey, if you want to go that route, you can. Not me. I never trust it to have to pull this apart because the gasket's leaking. So first of all, what I'm gonna do here is match up to where my gaskets go. Okay. And get the pump out of the way. Take some red silicone. And it goes like that. So what I'm gonna do is just take a thin bead, thin layer. Just go around it, around the water ports. That's it. You know, get one of our bolts, stick it up there. It's just to hold that in place. Then we get our other one. Go around the water ports. This is what I'm gonna do. Flip it over. I'm gonna do this other side real quick. Just a thin layer. It ain't gotta be a lot. Don't go crazy. Okay, put that up there. Start putting our bolts in, keep them lined up, keep them gasket lined up. Alright, now we'll be right back. Alright, what I did was push these bolts back. Just so I can do this other side of the gasket. Now, close off our silicone. Now for the fun part. While that's in place, we're gonna go over here. Carefully lower our assembly down into the bay. Oops, got a belt over here. And what you're going to do here is try to get just one bolt started. Keep that water pump in place. Okay, when you get on that side, you go to the other side. And then we got 2 bolts lined up. Now what I'm going to do is take my 10mm deep with my 4-inch extension, and I'm just going to bring them in by hand a little bit more. I want to make sure all of them are started. That's good. Now what I'm going to do here, I am going to get my air gun. Don't try this. I'm going to put my air gun on low, set it on low setting. So that way it doesn't tighten these bolts up all the way. But I'm doing this so I can bring them in. And you want to keep going side to side so the pump goes down evenly. Now, I get my 3/8 ratchet, and then I go over them again and tighten them down. Now these are not super tight. Don't try to, I'm estimating the way I feel it, it's like 25, 30 pounds of torque. Because you don't want to over tighten it and squeeze it and break that gasket. Okay, we're done. Well, you got any questions? Give me a call. No, let me stop. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we got our bolts tightened up, looking good. Now, while we got the tensioner out of the way, let's go over here and hook up our hoses. Okay, and while I got it on there, and the other one's out of the way, let's get these clamps on. If you can, get rid of those clamps. Get some better clamps, or you got the tool to do it or whatever. But I never did like these clamps. Okay, next one. And let's get our lower radiator hose, and remember that locked into place before, so make sure that thing don't snap back and grab your finger. Now you might be asking, sometimes that thing will lock up on you, and sometimes you might get lucky and do that and it'll snap back into place. If not, let me show you what you do. Get you a flat screwdriver, place it right on that point right there, and tap it. Yeah. Crummy thing. Oh, wait a minute, right on this side. There we go. I hate these clamps, man. I should have got another. You know what? I should get us another clamp. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna take that off and get another clamp. I noticed that clip got, it's like part of the holes, so I'm gonna still try this. Just get the tool, Tim. Just get the tool. Dang it. I'm gonna be going through this mess. There we go. Snap into place. That's kind of off, so let's bring this open a little bit. Make sure that lines up right. There we go. All right. Next step we're gonna do is put on our tensioner. So let me go get the tensioner and we'll be right back. Okay. All right. 3 bolts into the tensioner. Remember, you got one that's really short, and that's going to go down there. So you just line that up just like that. Get these other 2 in. I'm not going to tighten them up yet because we got our idle pulley. Let's get our idle pulley over there at the same time and start that. All right, next. We're getting our 15mm socket, 4-inch drive 3/8 extension. Let's tighten them up. Good to go. Looking good. Now we come over this way. And we see our next part we gotta put on is the fan. But before we put the fan on, let's get that belt on. So let's go back over here and hook up this belt. Let me get the socket and I'll be right back. Okay, you got your 15mm socket. Make sure it's on tightly. Now, easy way to check this, put this belt on, is by, you see that little groove right between there, that little spot? That belt's gonna fit right between there. Let's go over the alternator, down to the power steering pump. Then, what it's going to do is wrap around the water pump, go down to the crankshaft pulley, make sure that it's on right. Alright. Now, to make this simpler, now what I'm going to do is just take it off the alternator and put it onto the tensioner over here. And I'm going to hold that in place while I tighten this up. Well, I'm going to go counterclockwise to just get it to go down, over. Make sure all the pulley, all the grooves are lined up. Perfect. Great. Alright, next we're going to do is get our fan and clutch assembly. Now you want to make sure this is good. Now if you can turn this, there's like tension on this, you know, that's pretty much your clutch is good. Well, if you want to be on the safe side, go ahead and replace it while you got it off. You want to put it up on the grooves on the water pump. Get this line out of the way. And just, it's going to go clockwise and just spin that on until it stops. Now this water pump rotates counterclockwise, so it's actually going to keep tightening that up as it's running. But it doesn't mean leave it like that. So what I'm going to do, get my 1 7/16 inch, put it up there. Be careful, these fan blades are plastic, all right? done. Alright, we're looking good. Got a thermostat in. Everything is looking okay. Next step is the fan shroud. Let's get our bolts out of here. Let's keep the bolts in there. Alright. Okay, you want to get on that side. Try to put this in the same way you took it out. Just gotta slide in over there. Got your wiring harness up here. Make sure this harness is out of the way. And the harness over here. Okay. All right, let's get our bolts and all, and I'll be right back to put this back together. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we got our bolts right here, and we got two with the big washers. Just gonna start them right here. Set that right there, and then we got the one over here. Set that right there, and then we got the 6. You might now the bottom part of the shroud can move a little bit. So you want to just make sure all those line up, just like that. And you might have to use one hand to hold it in place, just to get those bolts started. Okay. Okay, let's go to the other side and get these on. Alright, once you got all 6 started by hand, get your extension and tighten them up. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, next, got a little wiring harness over here that's going to our mass airflow. Let's put that to the side. And remember, these clips right here, how they go. Just go in there, and I showed you how before how they come apart. So now they just snap right into place. Now we got our harness up under here, over here. Snap into place. Snap into place. That's good, that's good. Let's bring our hose, upper radiator hose over, and now it's got a little tube right here that goes over here that hooks up to that clamp. Okay, let's get our vice grips, close that clamp in, and put our hose on. But let's get it hooked up into this clip first. Okay, all right. Be right back. Let me get my vice grips. All right, here we go. Let's squeeze this together. And I gotta squeeze together more. Okay, good to go. Now, before we put the rest of the stuff on, I'm gonna show you a little trick. And a nice tool you should get to start putting antifreeze in it, because we can start putting the antifreeze in now. First thing you want to do, open this up. And actually my tool won't fit there, so that's going to be a problem. Alright, what we're going to do is let's start pouring some antifreeze in here so it can bleed out through the system. Alright, so what you want to do is make sure you get 50-50 strength antifreeze, not full strength. Because full strength will eat your radiator out. Alright, so let me get a gallon and I'll be right back. Alright, before we continue, let you know the customer went and got the water pump from AutoZone. It's a Duralast pump. Lifetime guarantee, I believe. And just in case you have to get one, there you go. FWP 9409. New water pump, not rebuilt, brand new. Now, here we go. AutoZone 50-50 antifreeze. So let's go over here. If you're not comfortable with this, use a funnel. A good way of pouring this is pour it sideways. You get better control of that. These gnats start bothering me. I'm just gonna go right ahead and pour the antifreeze in it. We're gonna pour this till it fills up. And then we're going to finish putting the rest of the stuff on while it drains down, alright? We'll be right back. Okay, next we're going to put on the main part of our air tube that goes to the throttle body. I'm going to push that on. You notice it's got a little groove cut out right there. It lines, that groove cutout lines up right with this part of the throttle body. So you can go ahead and tighten that clamp right up. Make sure this is tight, because if any air leaks by that, it will run bad. Alright, go on that. Make sure this plug is out of the way. Next part, well, looking at our line is this right here. The expansion tank. But remember, this expansion tank got water in it. So what we're gonna do is go over here, and we want to get that water out of there. We don't want the water in there because it's right now August. Fall's gonna start coming. Winter's gonna start coming, and if this water's in here, it's gonna freeze up. It's gonna crack this thing right in half. I'm gonna drain this water out of here. That's clear water. Never use straight water in your cooling system. Alright, then we're going to go over here. Yes. Now I want you to come on this side and damn, that's getting worse. Alright, first of all, what we got here, you see this drain tube down here. This one goes down, and down here on the shroud there's a little groove. Remember that groove that we pulled out? That it pulled outside of? It's got to sit in there. But what we're going to do is first set this into set the tabs into the slots right there. Bring it down. You got your 10mm screw right here. Start that by hand. Then we're going to go down there and we're going to snap that into place. That's that. Next, what we're going to do is bring this tube down. Actually, wait a minute. No, that's wrong. That is wrong. Don't worry. Don't tell them. Don't go back. Actually, get this out of there. This top one is the one that goes down into that groove. The other one goes around and goes right up into here. Now there was a clamp on this right here, but let me go get the clamp. And what I might do is put a better clamp on it, because I'm not too familiar. I don't like that. I didn't like that clamp that was up there. So let me get another clamp and I'll be right back. All right, what I did was put a clamp up there. I like these clamps better. And you notice I got it facing downward up underneath, because I don't want it to interfere with the radiator cap in any kind of way. So let's get that on. See how that's facing downward. Go ahead and, now realizing this is a plastic neck, so don't try to be Superman with the clamp. Just tighten it down to it snug. Okay. Now the antifreeze had time to drain down some, so let's fill this up again. Again, that's 50-50 antifreeze. Alright, and while that's draining down, let's get our air cleaner. With our air filter. Move this plug out the way. Let's take out that 10mm bolts we had up here. And set it in there. And remember the two grommets underneath. Make sure those are lined up. Snap down into place. 10mm bolts. And plug this up and we'll be right back. Okay, we got that done. Now let's get our 10mm socket. 1, 2, 3. Tighten those up. Okay, we got those done. Now, let's tighten up our other air cleaner bolt over here. Clamp. Now, all this time, what I'm doing is keep checking the antifreeze and filling that up as needed. Now, let's get a little clip to go in there for that mass airflow. All right, let's go over here. And that clip just keeps that mass airflow from popping out. I got this the right way or something, man. What the heck? Alright, wrong way. Here we go. Okay, right there. That's good. Antifreeze level, we're gonna fill that up, and at the same time, we're gonna fill this up. Alright, so let's fill that up. Alright, we got it all filled up. Let's put our radiator cap back on. Alright, let's start it up. There we go. I'm gonna let it run for a little while, let the thermostat open up, we'll check the reservoir again. But pretty much, that's how you do the water pump on a 2005 Chevy 2500. If you have any questions, be sure to put the comments down there and I'll be sure to answer them. This is Timmy from Astro Auto Repair. If we can't repair it, nobody can. Take it easy.